Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the worst trial in the entire franchise.
We need to make a dunce hat for
Debatable, very debatable,
we don't
but
even
this
get
is
an intro of our climb. We just start straight away.
Yeah. It's debatable
now
if I will
inspection.
call this the worst trial in the entire franchise, but it is up there. It's one of the worst.
Machi, Your Honor. The pixie of the arpeggio. Ugh.
Good job Pixie isn't here. She ate this.
I don't know, she doesn't really know much about
So,
this
I'm
case.
curious,
Right.
Trevor, what is the worst trial in your opinion?
I'm not quite sure I have a particular worst. I will say this, though. For as stupid as this trial gets, it still does not piss me off nearly as much as the finale of the crossover.
Well, that's an easy picking. I'm talking about the actual main Ace Attorney games.
Oh, Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't really have much time to think on that regard. I guess to me, it's
well.
sort of... Well, actually, maybe I do continue. Oh! Again, you've caught me at a bad time. I need time to think about
There was
that.
something else. There was
Sure,
something
whatever.
else to ask you about. Oh, the judge has got something for us.
Again, so far to me, well,
Yeah.
obviously this is terrible, but the one that
So you're going to visit someone in the... So you're going to visit someone in the hospital with an incurable disease.
Where
Is
is the judging going for?
What do you
Is it-
say to them?
what is this important?
Pop quiz.
What
I-
the fuck
Eh?
is...
I mean, you wouldn't say get well soon, right?
What the fuck?
True.
You're
Basically,
going to be kicking them when they're down.
basically the judge is...
Am I even in the
Hold
room
on.
right now?
Basically,
I-
the judge is lecturing Klavier about court etiquette and referring to a blind person.
What are you talking about? Actually, I'm going to visit someone who is terminally ill.
That too.
Right after this trial, Chief Justice's son.
Oh,
Hmm.
okay then. Thanks for telling us that.
The Chief Justice?
Shouldn't be the Chief of Justice?
No. Chief Justice is actually the term. in
His
some
son is
cases.
afflicted. His son is afflicted with a most terrible disease.
The disease of...
He doesn't have long, it seems.
Oh.
Oh, okay, so I'm guessing his particular character is written by Kato Hino.
What?
He's in a hospital bed right now, and we're going to see him in his deathbed and all that shit.
So I thought I'd go pay him a visit. I thought
Weird
saying something
term
moving
of
might be
analogy
good
there,
today.
but okay.
Do we ever know who this person is? Like even in the investigation games?
I'll tell you this, Theo, it actually is relevant.
He died of henotitis.
I
Oh,
mean...
Why don't grown-ups ever just say what's on their mind instead of pretend? Trucy?
Trucy.
No.
Welcome to the real world.
Trucy, if everyone just spoke what was on their mind, this world would be a much more dangerous place.
And not saying.
Imagine if every person.
She's
was
looking
like
at me with
Doctor.
something like, Hey, what are you looking at me like that for?
Wow, she actually interrupted him mid-monologue.
In any case, I'm a bit busy today, so let's wrap this up quickly.
Sure.
Yes, actually, I can agree with the judge. I just want to get this,
Yeah, can we get this over
this
with?
trial done over with. Prosecutor
I-
Gavin, your opening statement, briefly.
I'm actually curious as to how they're going to deal with this. Though.
Oh, Shira, you're in
You're
for
in
some
luck, Head
fun today, this morning.
I believe you'll be going on your hospital visit sooner than you think.
Rafa, you ain't with your predictions. Oh wait, never mind, that's Nayuta, dang it.
First, to review the victim in this case.
I said briefly.
Well, we do have to do this by procedure, Your Honor.
Romain Latouze, age 35.
Mm-hmm.
The global manager for Diva Songstress Glamrock. The cause of death, blood loss due to being shot by a large caliber revolver, and the blind kids to blame.
The blanket.
This report has all the details.
The court accepts this into evidence. And let's give it a read. Once this bit's gone by.
This is autopsy report, of course.
Add it to the court record. 45 caliber. That's quite large, isn't it?
There's
Oh
no
my
kill
God.
like overkill.
The game is literally
Okay,
telling
let's have a read.
The game is what, sorry?
It's basically handling keys in front of your face, saying, "Yeah, we know you know. We're just gonna keep hanging you for like
Rain the
40
two.
more minutes."
Male.
Yeah,
Private
to be
F
fair,
170.
pointing out that a 45 caliber gun is large, that's something they haven't done often, and most people playing this, I would assume, are not gun enthusiasts. At least I would.
Not just that. Not just that. We also got whatever. Let's move on in front of me.
A direct hit from that could knock a man off his feet.
Don't get me wrong, Tio. I will still acknowledge when this game does repeat stuff too much, but the
No,
45
it's not the
caliber.
repetition, Jova. It's the fact that the game is basically lampshading the fact, indirectly, the fact that the kid could not have done this.
Actually, they
For
weren't. That
obvious
was
reasons.
just the judge pointing out that it's large. No. Don't worry, Tio. There's actually a point where they do hammer that into your head. That's when it gets annoying.
Mm-hmm. Sadly, his blood loss was such that he could not be saved.
Totally didn't give any dying words, Apollo.
I suppose the victim's condition could have been. How could it have been worse? He died!
There are a lot of ways it could have been worse, just saying.
Yeah, worse than death, yeah. No, I can't.
I think he's referring to the ways he could have died and how
Yeah.
torturous that could have been.
2 shots were fired.
Mm-hmm.
What are you clicking to?
I don't know. 1 shot missed, and the other penetrated and passed through the victim's shoulder.
But we saw 2 bullet holes in the wall.
Well,
Both
wait a
bullets
sec.
were found in the wall at the scene. Observe the diagram.
There you go, TO2. One was powerful enough to go right through his shoulder and into the wall.
Alright, sure.
This is where the bullets hit.
And no, they did not just magically disappear.
I see. The court
So-
accepts this evidence.
Don't you see, Jova? The bullet doesn't exist!
Pager. That kind of logic died with Manfred von Karma.
Thank God.
If we're talking about a 45 caliber,
Clearly
we must
something
assume
else.
that the killer was adept at the weapon use.
Clearly, Jova, clearly something else made that hole on the door.
Yeah,
I
Clearly.
mean,
the
to
killer-
be fair, it's coming from Manfred
Yes,
von
yes,
Karma,
yes,
so I'm not
yes,
surprised
guys.
he stooped
Yes,
to
guys.
that.
I'm sure the 14-year-old blind pianist was adept at using a firearm.
Oh yeah, totally.
I mean, again, it is possible. Like, there are blind people who can do this sort of stuff. The problem is that the game does not go about addressing things the smart way. Like, look,
The thing is, Jova's right, but does this kid look like the kind who would have had the training to do that?
okay. To be fair, we do learn some things that suggest it, but again, just make the gun
Guessing they're
something
explained
that you
poorly.
know is not physically impossible. Again, look, a lot of these problems could have been solved if the gun was just smaller.
I love this back, actually. If, say, the judge tried to fire one, it'd break every bone in his body. The defense will take more
There's-
care in choosing examples.
There's your fucking hint, you fucking morons! Ah!
Okay, Pedro, now that's getting annoying.
Well,
What's
to
good?
be honest, Jova, the entire case is getting annoying real fast.
Oh,
As I was saying, the
exactly.
victim
That's the point, Dio.
Well, wait a minute, what's getting
The dressing
annoying?
room
Joe,
is-
I don't get it.
Case,
The case, the bit that you were pointing out, it's like I was saying, yes, Pedro, now that's getting annoying. As in,
Eh.
I'm
Not
agreeing
saying
with
to be
you.
the case, yes.
Sure.
That said, though, admittedly...
Wait, hang on.
Huh?
One entrance, and what was with that other door then?
However, there were witnesses who heard the gunshot.
Aren't there 2 doors, one going in there and another far left?
Stop questioning my stupid logic.
Actually, it's got nothing to
He's
do with
talking about
questioning
you
the
and Emma,
logic,
huh?
because they actually do admit there's a door.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't in there.
Yet, when the witnesses entered the room,
Mm-hmm.
yes, it was empty, save for the victim's body, of course.
Well, there was a person in there, but he was so fast he got away. But
Really too fast for you.
that's impossible!
I know, Judge. I know. Exactly. This murder was impossible. Game, stop making me agree with Klavier, please.
For all but
one person. Oh, wait.
for God's sake!
For God's sake!
One person?
Okay, now is Dwibs reading Pedro's mind?
Well, this is just so freaking stupid.
Okay.
Go on, Pedro.
That is, of course. Drumroll. The defendant, Machi.
Are you fucking serious again? Look at this bloody description.
Okay. To their credit,
14 blind pianists. You've probably broken his entire upper body firing that weapon.
okay, to their credit, the only thing that really spits in the face is the fact that he couldn't have fired it. Still, though, the problem is that the prosecution doesn't do much outside of saying by process of elimination. Which, okay, that's all fine and dandy, but in any real-life sort of case here, it's the prosecution's job to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that the perp
But
actually
how?
did it.
It's quite simple. The circumstances of the crime scene make it. The problem, Joe, again.
He doesn't.
And again, I get it, Japanese law. But again, this feels like a case that would have worked better if it were in Dual Destinies, where, they pretty much bring it front and center that, yes, the Dark Age of the Law does include ridiculous accusations because, yeah, not gonna lie, some of the accusations in Dual Destinies are pretty freaking stupid themselves, but at the very least, the Dark Age of the Law is mentioned ad nauseum there to actually make sense of it. Again, look, I do see some ideal things here, like, okay, yeah. By process of elimination, as far as they know, Machi's the only one who could have done it. But, okay, here's what I would have done if I were writing it. Have them at least show bouts of doubt. Like, okay, if Klavier had said, yes, as far as we know, he's the only one who could have done it, so thus, it's our job to see if he actually did it or whatnot, hence the bout of his trial. Okay, that would have been fine. The problem is that they fall through with the utmost of certainty in it. Because, come on. Again, look, this is one thing I'll give Turnabout Big Top over this, and oh my god, I'm complimenting Turnabout Big Top over this. At the very least, Franziska herself showed doubt at the fact that the client actually flew, even though that would have won her case. Like, even she had some standards in that regard.
Now, don't blame yourself. Things like this happen. Things like this happen, don't you know? Murders during concerts. I've made even bigger mistakes in my career, Judge, I'm not quite sure that's what you should be saying at this moment.
Somehow
sure
this
that makes you
guy
feel
gets
much
the
better.
right verdict every time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes me feel much better.
I want to hear about these bigger mistakes.
Sorry, Chusi,
Yeah,
that is what
like
we
the
call a
time-
noodle incident.
Like the time the judge sat on the whoopee cushion on his seat.
Surprised
Yeah.
that has not happened yet.
In any case,
Oh god, Klavier's the one actually working here.
because you were on security detail, the crime was quickly discovered.
Yes,
Yeah, like 5 seconds after it happened.
and that is why I'm dragged into this sorry excuse of a trial.
And we were able to identify the killer.
But-
Somehow.
Yeah, really.
And okay.
You may give the court your testimony.
And before
if
you
you
ask,
would.
Tio, yes, Emma actually is questioning the logic behind this just as much. That actually is a story given.
Then what's the game excuse for not listening to her?
Just wait till the end of this first trial. You will see the reason, and I will not be surprised if you rage to the point of drinking. And I say that again, I'm saying this as somebody who actually
No, this is gonna be.
Look,
This
Witness testimony, murderous circumstance.
I'm predicting it right now, Jova. It's gonna be like in that Knack 2 part where Tail Rage quits the part.
Hey, go on, Joe, the testimony time.
maybe not that bad, but anyway.
The night of the murder, I was on security backstage at Prosecutor Gavin's request. Only people involved with the concert in some way were allowed backstage. And 2 stragglers. At the beginning of the 3rd set, I heard shots.
Yeah, 2 of them, to be exact.
I went into the room, filled with blaring rock music, and found the body. I examined the scene and determined that only the defendant could have done it.
No, you didn't.
Okay,
You
okay.
didn't. You stood there, looked at his body, and ran off.
To be fair,
Why?
Dwibs, there was a point where we actually did leave her alone in the room, and I'll say this like it is right now here, Emma is legit trying. Like, I know it sounds stupid here, but she's actually one of the few people trying to legit do good work here. Trust me, it all comes to a point by the end of this first half of the trial.
It was lucky that a detective was the first on the scene, along with a defense attorney who we're not going to mention.
Just like all times.
But that door was the only way out of the room, right?
There was another door.
Hold on.
Who's the blind one here?
Yeah, pretty much.
Is the blind leading the blind? This is a nightmare.
Freaking. Okay, yeah, it's like these characters had a lobotomy before the.
Am I even in the room right now? Like,
Hold on.
How can they say that Machi did it?
I don't know, Trucy, and yet they
They're
are.
saying it. Their mouths are moving.
Okay.
That very
Coming out.
passive
I need a
listening
bit
now.
more information.
Okay, basically,
It's like I get it. It's like in End of Days where they think the guy crucified himself on the ceiling.
okay,
Teo, this is the ultimate example of pointing out your own problems doesn't make them go away. They point out the problem.
Actually, it's not quite that, Pedro, actually. What they're stating is like, well, if supposedly there was no other way out, then that presents a contradiction. It's worded awkwardly, but it's more so in the sense that they know the contradiction. They're pointing out that, hey, if that's the case, then that's impossible, which is your hint at what the contradiction is for.
The night of the murder was the night of the concert, yes?
That's right.
Duh. What was the detective doing on security detail, might I ask?
Don't ask. Oh god, I have to answer
Well-
him.
Yes, you do. If it was only a concert. Only a concert?
My thoughts exactly.
Well, Apollo, people have actually died invading the stage on concerts.
True that.
But orders are orders, even when they come from rock gods.
Prosecutor Gavin? Who else could it be? Prosecutor Gavin's pet dog?
Yes, allow me to explain. I smelled something that day, you might say. The stench of conspiracy. Oh, great, so now you're a fortune teller too? Like,
I guess.
Is there anything he can do?
An Inconvenient Truth, starring Christopher Klavier Gabling.
Klavier Gavin.
that day at the concert.
Conspiracy?
Internet.
That excuse, by the way, is very
Oh,
flimsy.
this bit.
Well, isn't it obvious? My keys, the whole morning, no, but the whole day was ruined.
Clearly somebody was out to get me.
It's all because someone stole my keys. I couldn't ride my hawk to the show. I couldn't open my guitar case. Wah, 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 wah.
I mean, that does sound like a crap day, but
You're
still,
rich. Get a limo.
Pedro, the guitar case is
does
kind of
again.
an important issue, though.
Isn't it possible he simply misplaced them?
Maybe.
I mean,
Misplaced them?
oh, you was right.
What do you think this is? Misplaced items don't just wander into a murder victim's hand on their own. You'd be surprised, Klavier. This is the Esoteric universe.
Says the guy who thinks that a 14-year-old blind kid can shoot someone.
Remember,
That makes you a prime suspect!
Oh, snap.
remember, Dwibs. In Esoteric, the way it works is everybody's guilty till proven innocent.
6
Love.
out of 10.
Slow acting and new. Atroquin, whatever the hell that is waiting for you.
He's saying something. Oh, he's
shit.
singing something.
Does everything with this guy have to be so over the top?
I wish it was more over the top. The killing happened in the middle of my concert.
Stupid guy could have waited till after the concert to kill.
I was like a sailor, adrift on a sea of sound.
Don't you mean Song of the Sea?
Anyway, I didn't want anything else stolen.
So you hired security? I guess you took initiative.
So I put the detective with the most time on their hands on the task.
So,
Isn't she in charge of the precinct?
not just that,
see.
again,
Can
where the
accept-
hell has Gumshoe gone?
About that.
Please,
We will
the
find out
testimony.
later. In Ace Attorney 6.
Huh.
Only people involved with the concert in some way were allowed backstage.
We were let in, though.
Like I said, and 2 stragglers. And wait, I didn't know about that. I certainly didn't invite you to smash.
Okay, what's it with Emma? Half the time she's friendly, but half the time she's a total bitch to us. Has she got freaking dual personality disorder?
I
No
gave the
sleeves.
Fraulein special permission to be there. I wanted to see her again.
There's
maybe-
Oh,
grumpy-
God.
It is. Maybe she's suffering from the same disease Connor in Shiro's playthrough is. She's suffering from bipolar disorder.
There's being grumpy because you didn't get your job, and then there's being freaking bipolar.
Actually, Dwibs, there's a thing for it's called mood swings. Also, to be...
Gee, great.
Yeah.
Some other hangers-on tried to get backstage, but I drove them off.
What,
With
by throwing fingerprint powder in there.
No.
So
Maybe she has one of the-
outsiders were there. Then.
Maybe she has one of those those sprays that women
Pepper
have
spray.
to protect themselves.
Or tasers. Cops have tasers.
Hold it! I believe we were having a chat when we heard the shots.
Very good.
You were the one chatting. I was eating snackoos.
You were chatting too.
Emma, don't eat in the middle of the trial, please.
Hey! No snacking in court!
Thank
Yeah.
Oh, really? So it's the same judge who let the comfort queen feed him. Yeah,
actually a
that's
good
right.
point.
I
That's-
still
that's
remember.
That's actually a good point, yeah. And you're sure the shots came from Lamor's room?
First, can we didn't bring that up? Yes, absolutely.
You... Actually, does he? Well, I mean, which bit are you talking about?
Hey, I'm the one being cross-examined here.
No one cares.
You should care, fools. Here, this'll keep you quiet. Yeah!
Thanks. So, how about it, Emma?
What the fuck?
Son of...
He's
He
eating the
actually
snack.
caught it in his mouth.
I...
You were right. Hard to be mistaken with...
Oh my
Matt.
god.
Please, either talk or not both at the same time.
Sure, whatever you say, Dad. Oh wait, no, my dad's dead.
What the fuck is wrong with this case?
Right, so after that... Me and Mr. Lawyer there opened the dressing room door.
Mr. Lawyer,
Yes, you're a lawyer.
Emma does not talk like that, especially not in this game.
I went into the room filled with blaring rock music and found the body.
Hold it! Rock. That was rock. If that was rock, then One Direction's music's rock.
Blaring, yes.
When you say rock, are you referring perhaps
These things that these youngsters listen these days.
to this rock and roll music that's so popular?
Not exactly, Judge.
That's right. We went into the dressing room. Music was blaring over the speaker on the wall.
Yeah, it was the moment where the penis had fucked up the string.
Yep.
Gone.
They
Gotcha.
pipe sound from the stage into the backs. They pipe sound
Into the
from the stage
backstage.
into the backstage through speakers.
The backstage.
That way, people in the back can hear when they're supposed to be on stage.
How?
Simple. You listen for your cues.
Did it have to be so loud?
Yes, it's rock. Rock is supposed to be loud. You don't listen to the Gaviners with your ears.
What?
Why you listen with your fucking mouth?
Tio.
Moron.
Jova, yes.
You feel it with your entire body and...
Hey,
oh, fuck.
Hey, Tio, remember the comic book that says, tune your ears into the sound of great horror and despair? You know, for a comic book, which is something we read with our eyes. God,
this one. This one. I always have the backstage monitors at full volume. So, Klavier was the one who was the sound mixing for Sucker Punch. Okay, got it.
Also, Jova, remember Batman Jazz.
Well, Batman Jazz had class to it. One More Day did not. Plain and simple.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, One More Day was not just stupid as a record, it was stupid in the dialogue and the narration.
If you could hear that music playing...
I wonder. Then everyone on stage for that song has an alibi.
Ah, the power of music and legal powers.
Including myself.
So basically, whoever was playing could not... I mean, whoever did the murdering could not have heard the song.
Anyway, I closed off all of the bouts for investigation, and here we are. I examined the scene and determined that only the defendant could have done it.
How could you know something like that?
The detective, duh.
You're a pretty shitty one.
Says the lawyer, barely out. As I said, it was clear from the circumstances.
Do I have to keep bringing this up every single time?
Let me actually explain.
If it's a dumb explanation, then get off and leave the detective industry.
Get off the stage.
I don't have to agree to those terms. We know that there was only one exit from the room, that door. I'm totally not setting myself up for an obvious contradiction here. A small window only opened a tiny crack.
So whoever the killer was shot him through that little window then.
And I was standing in front of that door. So, how could the killer have fled the scene?
Go through that door there.
There's only one possibility, the air vent.
The what?
The air vent. See, there's a ladder up there.
Objection! But that air vent was too small. Who could possibly...
Who do we know who's small enough for that?
You?
Exactly.
Okay, do you hear, Tio? There are plenty of blind people who can do a lot of crazy stuff, even in real life. Just because Daredevil flowers it up does not mean...
Not just that, not that, but it's the thing, this type of kid is the Ray Charles parallel, not exactly an athlete.
Well, Tio, let's just say there's some things about this kid we don't know yet.
Of course.
A child.
Let me guess, since Lamois was a liar, I'm guessing he's also not blind.
Oh, Shiroi, the game has just begun. But yeah, like Emma's saying, only a child could have
I'm
picked that
mostly
air
joking,
vent.
but still.
Oh, I get it, Jova. He actually has dinosaur DNA because he's from Virginia.
Oh, no, I got it. He's Daredevil.
Tio, you might be... Tio, you and Shiroi are close, but no cigar.
And of all the people involved with the concert, only one is small enough to be considered a child.
Okay, I like that they're only now explaining it.
No, Trici's pretty small.
The defendant.
Okay, they're explaining it now, but the problem is like, well, we've waited a bit long to get this explanation.
And even then, it's only a half glass full explanation.
Not just that, regardless of that, there's also the fact that a blind kid like that wouldn't be able to shoot that gun.
Actually, yes, Jova, that's actually a good point. Why haven't we run ballistic tests about these particular circumstances?
They're actually, I believe, in the middle of doing that.
Oh, better late than never, I guess.
There was no other way out of that room.
I don't recall when, but I do know that eventually the ballistic workings are going to come into play at some point.
You were there. You should know, Air Forehead.
And there is another vital piece of evidence.
What is it now?
You know, I'm just waiting for the game where our prosecution is literally a dog.
Evidence? What?
Yeah, you didn't think I'd go into this without such, did you? Otherwise, I'd look pretty stupid.
Maybe it could be like in.
Oh, here we go. Marks
Here
were
we are.
found on the air vent grill.
Maybe it could be like in Rick and Morty, where it's a dog with
Traces that it had
intelligence helmet.
recently been opened. Well, crud.
What kind of traces? Wait, what?
I actually understand a bit more this. This is the game kinda under knowing that it's pulling something out of his ass, so we're trying to put up excuse after excuse
You
trying
know-
to justify this.
Yeah.
You know-
I'm pretty. Yeah,
Hold
yeah.
on.
Hang on. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Machi Sabai, considering he's blind, was able to climb up a ladder, grab that, relatively quickly.
Okay.
And just, hold on, I'm getting sorry this. I understand these points that the prosecution is making and they actually work in the tunnel, but the way they're presented, it's similar to how the Inhumans TV series
Oh yeah.
at first makes you root for Maximus, and then when the writers understood this, they basically piled up every single possible excuse to make him unlikable at the end.
You know,
This is how it feels like.
now that you mentioned it too, I think I realized part of the issue with this compared to other cases. In most cases, yes, the prosecution pulls the whole, oh, we can't share this information because we're enemies. The thing is like, well, in those other cases though, okay, but screw them, you were the defense, so you actually went and investigated this stuff. Like, per se, for the first Ace Attorney game, the prosecution was definitely against us. But we found out stuff that would have been nice to know, which is sort of what set up the tension, because the more evidence we found, the more it seemed like our client was guilty. The problem here is that not only do we get our client at like the last minute, but we don't really get much a sense of why he's guilty until the trial thing. And yes, okay, sure, that's how it works in real life. But when you're doing a story like this, it's best that we get to know the characters and the circumstances the best we need to know for each one.
So this was his decisive evidence. What decisive evidence? A bunch of random fingerprints.
Again, had we actually discovered this ourselves, it would have felt like, this was more of a clear foundation from the get-go, because now Machi actually does look more guilty. Again, the only thing that's
I believe that's enough of that.
Again, the only thing that's really against him at this point is the fact that the gun is physically impossible. Like, him being blind doesn't really eliminate all the other stuff. It's still the gun, though, which they do address, I think. But again, the problem is, like Tio says, it's only coming, like, now. Like, they remembered, oh, crap, we need to include this stuff.
So, yeah, as the judge said, that's quite enough of that. So, so let's all take a deep breath and try and calm down from the stupidity the game just throwed at us. And we'll join you in the next part.
See ya.
See ya then.
See ya.
See ya.